Tado Jaya Budhiraye
Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavad Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhagavati Uttama Sloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtikim.
We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, 5th chapter and 22nd verse. Please repeat. Ye He Sansparshaja Bhoga Dukkayonaya Evate Adya Anantavantah Kaunteya Nateshu Ramate Buddha Ye hi sansparshaja bhoga Dukkayonaya evate Adyantavantah Kaunteya
Adyandavanda Kaundeya
Nateshu Ramate Buddha.
Nadeshu Ramade Buddha.
Synonyms. Ye, those. He, certainly. Sansparsha, ja, by contact with the material senses. Bhoga, enjoyments. Dukkha, distress. Yoniya, sources of. Eva, certainly. Te, they are. Adi, beginning. Anta, end. Yanta, subject to. Kaunteya, O son of Kunti. No, never. Tesu, in those. Ramate, takes delight. Buddha, the intelligent person. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. An intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery, which are due to contact with the material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise man does not delight in them. Purport. Material sense pleasures are due to the contact of the material senses, which are all temporary because the body itself is temporary. A liberated soul is not interested in anything which is temporary. Knowing well the joys of transcendental pleasures, how can a liberated soul agree to enjoy false pleasure? In the Padma Purana, it is said, Ramante yogino ante satyande chat atmani iti ram pade nasav param brahmabhi dayati. The mystics derive unlimited transcendental pleasures from the absolute truth. And therefore, the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, is also known as Ram. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, also, 5th canto, 5th chapter, 1st verse, it is said, Nayam deho deha bhajam nirloke kastan kaman arhate vid bhujaniye tapo divyam putrakayen sattvam suddhayed yasmad brahma saukhyam tav anantam. My dear sons, there is no reason to labor very hard for sense pleasure while in this human form of life. Such pleasures are available to the stool eaters, hogs. Rather, you should undergo penances in this life by which your existence will be purified. And as a result, you will be able to enjoy unlimited transcendental bliss. Therefore, those who are true yogis or learned transcendentalists are not attracted by sense pleasures, which are the cause of continuous material existence. The more one is addicted to material pleasures, the more he is entrapped by material miseries. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Desha Tarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. First of all, I would like to pay my obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnavas so that they bless me, that I get some power, some potency, some blessing in my voice, and I can say something which is of some use to you, all of us. I would also like to pay my obeisances to the lotus feet of Simeshwar Prabhuji. He ordered me to speak on this verse. I know with that he gave empowerment as well so that I can say something. This is a wonderful verse. It's in continuation with what His Grace Govardhan Bhakt Prabhu was talking about yesterday. Krishna is telling about, so the entire Bhagavad Gita is where Krishna is telling about do's and don'ts. And this is one of the verse where Krishna is telling what not to do when you are an intelligent person. So he is saying that when you are an intelligent person, you do not take part in the source of misery. And then what are those miseries? Those are the miseries are the which come in the context of material nature when we are focused on the sensual enjoyment. Now we'll try to understand that now what is this, how do we connect it, and how it is in the context of Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita has 5 main subject matters. Ishvara, who is Bhagavan, who is the controller. Second is Jiva, the living entities. Third is Prakriti, the material nature. Fourth is Kala, and then fifth is Karma. Now we are on the fifth chapter, and then fifth chapter of Bhagavad Gita is Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. So that is belonging to fifth type karma. Now, out of these five things, Krishna is explaining about himself as Ishvara. Aham sarvasya prabhav matah sarvam pravartate iti mattva bhajante mam buddha bhav samanvita. That I am the source of everything. That's what Krishna is telling. And then we are part and parcel of Krishna. So that's Jiva. That's the marginal potential. Krishna is the energetic, and then his energies are internal, 3 types of energies: internal, external, and then marginal. Okay? So external energy is Prakriti. Okay? And that also is Maya Dakshin Prakriti Suyate Sa Charachara. So under the um, under the guidance of Krishna, this Prakriti is moving. No? Chara Chara. Both movable, immovable. Both. Now, and then time factor, as the time Krishna also mentions in the fourth chapter that this particular knowledge of Bhagavad Gita I gave to Vivaswan, but because of the time factor it was diminished. And then I'm here again giving it, re-establishing it again uh, uh, through you, Arjuna. So that's, and then fifth is karma. Now, out of all these five things, four are eternal. Those four which are eternal are Ishvara, controller, Krishna, Bhagwan, Jiva, the Jiva Tattva, uh, then Prakriti is also eternal. Mayavadis do say that how do you say Prakriti is eternal? It gets created, universe is created and destroyed. That's what is Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita are saying. So how it is, but we can understand it in the context. Prabhupada explains very nicely in the introduction section of the Bhagavad Gita that this world is created and then destroyed, and that cycle continues. And in that context, you have to understand that it is eternal. And it is not mithya, as Mayavadis say. It's not mithya. Um, Mayavadi says Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya, but that's not correct. We are here. Whatever our actions, we have to pay the or bear the repercussions of those actions. So that's why this is not at all temporary or false. So it's eternal. And then Kala, time factor, is also eternal. So the only thing which is not eternal here is karma. And Krishna is in Bhagavad Gita emphasizing. So, third chapter we saw that karma yoga. Okay? Then this chapter, karma yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. That's what Prabhupada has named it. It's going into detail, deeper in deep about that our actions. Okay. And then it ends with that what is the ultimate action. That's what is in the 18th chapter. Krishna is explaining that Sarv Dharman Paritajya Mamekam Sharanam Raja Aham Tam Sarpapyabhyo Mokshishyami Ma Shuchaha. Okay? Please do not worry. Leave all kind of actions and then come to me, surrender to me. Okay, and then I will take care of it. Okay? So if we understand that, then let's come back to this verse. So this verse is saying that an intelligent person does not take part in the source of misery, which are due to contact with material senses. Okay? O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise man does not delight in them. So we understand that this body we have received, we understand that it is for the sense enjoyment. But if we think a little deeper, it's not actually meant for sense enjoyment. And a very small analysis will prove that. Let's take example of this ear. Okay, or hand. Any body part. What are the different ways in which we can give pleasure to that body part? It's very limited. Okay, if I take example of hand, what all it can have pleasure? It doesn't have. It's if we see, there are not many ways in which this hand can enjoy a lot of pleasure, ecstasy. But how many ways this hand can be tortured, can be given punishment? And then we can come up with n number of ways to give punishment to this hand. If you bite it, if it gets hurt, if it's too cold, too hot, you know, um, if somebody presses, there's so many ways. If there is like, a slight hit to, we are walking and then slight hit something, old age, by old age, some disease. So there's so many ways this hand can be given punishment. So what do we understand by this? And this stands true with all the body parts we have. There would be probably one or two ways to give pleasure to the body part, but there are so many ways to give punishment, give torture, give pain to this body part. And if we take this concept, then we can easily understand that this body is actually in a prison house, because all the amenities given in the form of this body is actually to give punishment to it. So what do we do then? But we can argue also that, oh no, but there are so many ways we can enjoy. For example, I can eat nice prasadam, I can eat nice food, nice food stuff. I can do, I can drink uh, alcohol, different type of juices, and that will give me pleasure. Okay, I can take nice rest, I can see nice things, and then that gives me pleasure. But even if you see that, uh, and we take that as an argument, our body doesn't have enough capacity to enjoy. For example, you go to a nice restaurant, which has unlimited buffet. Go ahead and then eat whatever you want. Okay, how much can we eat? One serving, two serving, third serving, fourth serving will vomit. Fifth serving, if we press, and then if we don't correct this habit, then body starts going through obesity, body starts going through different diseases which will come from the overeating. So this body is not meant for even overeating. I mean, if this body, our human body, was meant for enjoying, the nice, food stuff which is given for, abundant amount, then we should have had, something like elephant, which can eat so much, but elephant doesn't care about taste. Now, if we think about that, okay, if not, then how about enjoying nice alcohol? Now, even that's not possible. Uh, you enjoy, some amount, and then what happens? Next day you wake up, and then we'll have a severe headache. We'll need a painkiller, aspirin, something to come out of that headache of drinking. So if we think from that perspective also, it's not. How long can we sleep? Kumbhakaran had the capacity to sleep for 6 months in a year. How long can we sleep? If you go and then sleep for more than few hours, more than 7, 8, maybe 10, 12, some have the capacity. But after that, you'll start feeling body pain from sleeping. We will feel bored. This body is not even meant for nice sleep for long duration. Now what else happens if we are, so these are the sense objects which we just by these points we can understand that our body is not meant for, or it doesn't have the capacity to enjoy these sense objects to the fullest. Now if we but the mind keeps on giving these ideas that, okay, this was probably one of a time. So okay, I went to restaurant. I There's unlimited buffet. I enjoyed one time, and then uh, I got, upset stomach, some kind of problem, dealt with it, and then next time I'll do the same thing. So the mind is saying, oh, okay, that's fine, go ahead, enjoy it. Okay. Similarly, there are other sense objects, and then those causes then addiction, and that's again, big problem. Addiction towards alcohol, addiction towards drugs, addiction towards other stuff. So meditation on all these sense objects are, and then we have to go through therapies to come out of the addictions. Otherwise, our social, economical, cultural, all the life is going downhill. So we can very easily understand that. Okay. So what do we do? Okay. Here's this nice picture of enjoyments, beginning and an end. That's what is verse saying, that um, that intelligent person do not take uh, pleasure in the sense objects. Okay. So what do? We have all these senses, and then so we then go ahead and then try to look for um, the examples of the uh, great personalities. How did they live their life? And then we try to follow them and then make our life successful. Okay. So even there we have to see. So let's take example of um, Bharat Maharaj. So Bharat Maharaj is was the king of this Bharatvarsha, this this earthly planet. Um, After him only is the one name of India, Bharatvarsha. Okay, he is the son of King Rishabh Dev. Yeah, that's another point I forgot to mention. So this particular verse here, which is being referenced, 5.1, that is Rishabh Dev talking to his sons, and he is saying that, my dear sons, there is no reason to labor very hard for the sense pleasure while in this human form of life. No? Now Bharat Maharaj, after he was a Rajarshi, and after giving up his kingdom, uh, he actually retired in jungle, and then he developed attachment for a deer, a baby deer, and there, at the time of death, he thought about what will happen to the deer. The story is like he was meditating in jungle, and then he saw that there was a pregnant deer and it was being chased by a lion, and um, that a pregnant deer jumped into the water, and then Bharat Maharaj went to check. He couldn't find the deer or the lion, but um, he saw the baby deer. The pregnant, mother deer. She delivered the baby deer, and then Bharat Maharaj took her out of the water and then started taking care of her. And in due course of time, when he had to leave the body, he actually, for a moment, just before leaving the body, he thought about who will take care of this baby deer now? And because of that, he actually, the next birth he got was of a deer. So what do we understand? That if a Rajarshi like Bharat Maharaj, if he can develop attachment towards deer, and then as the next birth he got a deer body, then who are we? So we have to be very careful whom do we develop attachment with. Okay? All these stories actually teach us. Now, Bharat Maharaj was fortunate; he had all his devotional services, and because of that, in the when he got the birth of a deer, he remembered his past life and the mistake he did, and he made sure that he does not repeat that in future. And then after that deer's birth, next birth he got was of Jada Bharat. So he actually, right from the birth, he remembered, and he acted like a deaf and dumb boy, that he can't hear and he can't speak. And then his life became successful. So, and he devoted all his time in serving the lotus feet of Krishna. Uh, so, the point I was trying to drive from this story is that we have to be very careful about that. Whom do we develop our attachment? What do we develop our attachment towards? Similarly, there is story of um, Saubari Muni. So he was meditating inside water, and he saw two fishes mating, and then from there he developed this um, intention to have a married life and enjoy. So from here we can understand that, oh, these senses are very difficult to control. Similar example is from Maharishi Vishwamitra, that he tried to meditate, and then when meditate and control his senses, and aiming for Brahmarshi position, and then king of the heaven Indra saw this, and he thought that, oh, he's after my kingdom. So he sent Menka, and she was able to break Vishwamitra's vow. So from here we can understand that, oh, it's very difficult to control our senses forcefully. Then what do we do? Simple process is that we engage it in the service of Krishna. Okay? Once we engage the senses in the service of Krishna, because Krishna is unlimited, so the pleasure we can derive from serving him is going to be unlimited. That's what here this verse Prabhupada is also explaining, that the mystic derive unlimited transcendental pleasure from the absolute truth. Okay? So we have to understand that our senses are limited. This body has limited capacity, so we cannot enjoy to the fullest extent our mind, or we cannot get the unlimited pleasure using these senses if they are being subjected to the sense pleasure with the material objects. Then what is the solution? Solution being given is that if we engage these senses in the service of Supreme Lord, so Supreme Lord is unlimited, so from there the senses, the pleasure we'll get is going to be unlimited. It is very easy to understand. We are just like this hand, this nose, ear, eyes, mouth is the part of this body. Similarly, the soul is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Okay? So, when this hand is cooking something and feeding it to the mouth, this hand is not getting the joy out of it. But this hand is happy and is getting all the nutritions because it's serving the body, it's serving the mouth. So similarly, when this part and parcel soul, it serves the source, then it gets the pleasure and all the protection, all the portion. We have to, it's if we apply this simple thinking, then we can very easily understand. So to recap, material body is limited, so we can it cannot enjoy to the extent it wants to enjoy by engaging in the sensual pleasures. And then there are other downfalls to it, that by engaging too much into the sensual pleasure, it can also develop addiction. Okay? It can develop other kind of problems, diseases like overeating, obesity, various diseases. So we have to guard against that. Okay? Second is that it's very difficult then to control the senses forcefully. We took example of Shaubari Muni. We took example of Maharishi Vishwamitra, that they try to control these senses forcefully and cannot do it. And then the final ultimate solution, then what is the solution? The solution is to engage the senses into serving the Supreme Lord. Because Supreme Lord is the master of the senses. No, that's why his name is Rishikesh. Rishik means the senses, and Rishik plus Ish means controller. So the controller of the senses is Rishikesh. That's why bhakti is defined as Rishikesha, Rishikena, Sevanam, Bhakti, Uchyate. It's other way, Rishikena, Rishikesha, Sevanam, Bhakti, Uttam. So that's what is the bhakti actually. Okay? And because the supreme is, we also try to understand that because the supreme is unlimited and body, our soul is part and parcel of the supreme, then by serving the supreme, it can derive the unlimited pleasure. Okay. So I'd like to stop here, and if there are any reflections, their comments, please share.
Yeah, wonderful class, wonderful points. Thank you so much, Roji. Anybody has any questions, any realizations, concerns, comments? Please open up. This is the forum for that, to clear out, to share realization and thoughts, so that we all get the understanding and different realizations. And many devotees have different realizations on the same topic. It's nice to hear from each and every one of you. Please go ahead, and if any questions, comments, or anything, please open up. Thank you. Nobody has anything to add?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Swal Prabhu.
Yeah, Prabhuji, this is not directly related to the class, but since you spoke about the senses, uh, like we have this in the Bhagavad Gita talks about, like the 5 horses are compared to the senses, the 5 horses of the chariot, right?
Yes.
So the question is like, my question is like, I read somewhere, I remember reading, or like the chariot was given to Arjuna by Agni Dev, but in that chariot, like there were only 4 horses, and even the names of the horses are mentioned in the Bhagavatam. I forgot the names, I can't remember, but is it the same chariot or is it a different chariot? Because here we are talking about a chariot with 5 horses, and that's chariot which was given by Agnidev to Arjuna because he helped him, like burning the Khandwa forest. So that's when he got the chariot. So is it the same chariot or is it a different chariot? Because here the chariot has 5 horses and that has only 4 horses.
Okay. Prabhuji, I'm not very sure on that pastime. And then the 4 chariots, 4 horses, and the chariot given by Agnidev. But this 5 horses, and then the chariot being pulled by 5 horses in 5 different directions. It's an analogy given to understand that we have 5 senses, and then they are actually pulling the soul in 5 different directions. And
okay, but it's not meant for this. It's not like this. They're not talking about this Arjuna's chariot, right? So it's just an analogy.
yes, that's what my understanding is.
Okay. Yeah, all right. I mean, like maybe Simesh.
Simesha Prabhuji, you want to add something?
That is correct. There's Arjuna's chariot got 4 horses, and Shaibhya, the chariot name is Nandi Ghosh, and there are names are mentioned. That is correct. But that's analogy is actually just for the 5 horses. Chariot has 5 horses tied up to that can be compared to the 5 senses.
Yeah, but it's not about this chariot, right?
No, it's not. No, it's not
okay.
that.
We're just like this. I mean, I came across this because I was just reading and somebody was saying there's a contradiction, in the Bhagavad Gita. So I just thought clarify for the devotees themselves, Like, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Ajay Prabhu wants to say something.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam. All good is Prabhuji, what are the instructions Rishabh Maharaj given to his sons, and how many sons, like all of them reach their destination, or only Bharat Maharaj? Because we discussed mainly Bharat Maharaj story. So can you please throw some? Can you please tell about that?
Okay, wonderful point, Prabhuji. So, Rishabh Dev is the incarnation of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he had 100 sons, and eldest of them was Bharat Maharaj, and then there he for sure reached the he did achieve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his birth as Jada Bharat. But beyond that, Prabhuji, what happened to other 99 sons is something which I have to look it up. Maybe Shimeshwar Prabhuji can.
Yes, that's correct. And I think you must have heard about 9 Yogendras. You heard about 9 Yogendras, the Kavi, and there are these 9 great sages, sage rishis, later giving the advice to Yudhishthira Maharaj, and also advice to Dhava and many places. Nava Yogendras are actually the sons of Rishabhadev, and of course Bharata Maharaj and 100 sons. And the even nine Yogendras came to the Maharaj Nimi and heard about that Maharaj Nimi, and giving this transcendental subject matter to Maharaj Nimi, and Nimi attained the liberation. And these Navayogendras or 9 Yogendras are actually the sons of Rishabhadev. And yeah, many are actually exalted souls, especially, but prominent were the 9 Yogendras. They were completely did the penance and all wonderful devotional activities, and they were traveling around the world and giving all this transcendental knowledge to the different personalities, and they all attained liberation just by the teachings of Navayogendras. Yeah.
And Prabhuji, if you, as I mentioned, that it's actually the 5th canto. So if you have Srimad Bhagavatam's 5th canto, first 3-4 chapters are actually related, for dedicated to Rishabdev and his dynasty. It starts with King Nabi, and so you can refer that, Prabhuji. I can send a link also of the Veda base, so you can. Is it fine?
Yeah, there is a great detailed section in Srimad Bhagavatam also towards the 11th canto, and teachings of Navayogendras. So beautiful, so powerful. And each dharma is talking about the different descriptions of dharma. So yeah, so wonderful to understand. Nice question, Bhuji.
Yes, wonderful question, and something for me to take back and then do some more reading around it, research around it.
Anybody else has anything to add? Devotees, please open up. These are transcendental discussions, not the mundane material. Every word, every thoughts, every action, every word which we used, it has such a potency that it can purify us, and it can take away the karmas which accumulated for thousands of years, can eradicate. So this potency, the transcendental potency, by hearing, by remembering, it's so wonderful. Even if just you say Krishna or Hare Krishna, it's powerful. There's such a potency that it can take away our miseries. As Prabhuji was focusing on the class that the senses are the cause of our miseries.
Okay. So when you're saying, Prabhuji, this is reminding me of the example which is Srimad Bhagavatam also takes, and then Acharya say that just like the sun, when sun has the potency to purify the earth, whether there's a urine or stool or whatever is there on the earth, sun will purify that without getting impacted.
Yeah.
Just like that, devotional service can eradicate all the sins. In fact, other day I was reading the verse, Ashesha Sanklesha Samam. So, unlimited Sanklesha, unlimited miseries, threefold miseries can be eradicated just by Shravanam and Kirtanam, one Shuddhanam. We take example of what to speak of Shuddhanam, even Namabhas. We take example of Ajamil, that he was calling his youngest son Narayan, and he had done so many sins, and uh, Yamadutas were there to take his soul out of the body and take for the punishment. But just because he uttered the name Narayan once, he was calling his youngest son Narayan. But just by that Nama Bhas, his all sins were eradicated. The devotional service is so powerful.
Yep. There is a story in Srimad Mahabharata. Maharaj Katwanga. Katwanga went to heavenly planets to help Indra to fight. So hundreds of years were just fighting, and time passed away. And the war is over, battle is over. And then Indra asked, "You were helping me so much. How can I serve you? What can I do for you? You can ask me anything." So Maharaj Katwanga was very curious that how long I'm going to live. Indra said, "You don't have much time left. Only one moment is left for you. So you're going to see the death." So Maharaj Katwanga was very much, perplexed what to do now. So Narada Dev instructed that his time is not past yet, but still you can attain liberation. So Maharaj Katwanga immediately sat down, meditated, and of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, completely dedicated to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and attained the liberation. Just that moment.
Right.
So we never know. Even a moment of our life spent for the Supreme, and that would be so beneficial in so many ways. Otherwise, as we always say, we'll be just wandering in this world, one after another, one body to another, one form to another, one living entity to another living entities in different ways, one after another, thousands of lifetimes. So this soul is full of potency, full of life. Soul has. Only body dies. The soul has to live. The soul has to live in any body, so it has to take another body to live in this world. So it can be a hog, it can be a snake, it can be a bird, it can be an acoustics, it can be an animal, it can be ferocious, it can be anything, fly, insects, anything. But the same thing every time we are doing, eating, mating, sleeping, and defending, just walking and full of miseries. Ashashwadam Dukhalayam. Sri Krishna, Supreme Lord, mentioned that very clearly in the Bhagavad Gita. Ashashwadam Dukhalayam. It's full of misery. Everybody is so fearful in this world. Even if you take a bird, so cautious. And even if wanted to pick or take any kind of grains from the ground, 100 times it looks at left and right. What is the danger coming in this? Everybody is so fearful. Every living entity. So fearful. We don't know when the life of any living entity is snatched by another living entity. Is the world. But one good thing is actually there, as Sukadeva Goswami mentioning to Parishit Maharaj. Kalur doshe nidantajan. Ashti ego hi mahan guna. Out of all this, there is a one big quality of this age of Kali. Kirtanaya dasya Krishnasya. One who is able to kirtan, chant, just remember the holy name. Such people can attain Mukta Sangha Param Rajed, can attain the Param Raja, the Golok Vrindavan. One can attain that just by. So this is, a devotee is not an ordinary attempt, ordinary, time passing or anything. This is Krishna's mercy and arrangement that we can study systematically the importance of our spiritual nature. We all have that. And it's very important to understand this fact that we are spirit soul. And that's the first step of, journey of our spiritual life, is to realizing the self, science of self-realization. So Bhagavad Gita is giving us the science of self-realization. So starting from there, it's very important that we hear, we remember, we realize, we understand, meditate, associate, reiterate, asking questions, all purifying, all purifying. Haridas Thakur says that if we don't even say, Hare full, even half, even if we say half of the name of Hari or Hari, Rama, or half of it, half syllable of mantra. Krishna, we don't say fully, but at least try to attempt to say Krishna. May not be fully, some people in the pronunciation is not correct. Some may not be able to say completely Ra, Rama, or Ra. That's good enough for the Lord. Lord, understand it. So that is the potency of the Lord's name, remembering Him, His qualities, His devotees. So powerful. So this helps us. Thank you so much.
Wonderful points, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So we end here, Prabhuji.
Yeah, anybody else has anything to add? Otherwise, let's conclude. Okay, thank you so much, dear devotees, for joining, and please do so. And Thursday is Snana Yatra. It's Lord Jagannath appearance day, and we do have programs in the evening at the temple. Snana, Jagannath Snana Yatra. There is deities, everybody can come together and bathe the Lord. And there is Abhishek stand will be on the temple hall. We can take the opportunity to bathe the Lord. As we say, is always Madhava Tithi Bhakti Janani. The Tithi, Madhava Tithi is always purifying. It gives the mercy. And it's very auspicious, even take parts in it. So please join on Thursday, 24th, 7 p.m. There'll be nice arati, and after the Abhishek, Lord will be giving darshan on a Hati Vish. It's a very special dressing. And please take the opportunity to have darshan of the Lord. So on a Sunday morning, Madhavananda Prabhu was saying darshan means Lord is seeing us, not that we see the Lord. We should be in such a mood, such a sincere and humble mood, come in front of the Lord with that focus, with that devotion, with that attention. And Lord would definitely see you in all respect. Lord has thousands of eyes, thousands of ears, thousands of hands, thousands of mouths. Anything, even which in the mind, Lord can accept it. Maybe we may be far away from it, but our mind is there with the Supreme. Lord sees that. So every opportunity over here in this material world like this is the mercy of the Lord. Nothing that we do or nothing that anybody's, is all mercy of the Lord. Because He is so merciful. He is so merciful for His devotees. So don't take it, don't see us, don't minimize that, oh, everything is freely available. Okay, let me go and enjoy or something like that. No, you come to the temple with that focus and attention and the devotion, that Lord will see you. There was a nice story in Juhu Temple, Mumbai. It happened every day. One blind man, devotee, was a devotee, blind devotee, was coming to the temple every day. Every day he used to come without fail. There are some senior devotees who was noticed this, and they asked this devotee, Guruji, you can't see anything. You cannot see anything, and why are you coming? And it's such a difficult, that coming in the evening time to the Juhu temple, with catching the train, and if a blind is a person of a blind, so crowded roads and everything, and you can imagine that how difficult it is. But still, this devotee used to come to temple to take, part of, to take darshan of. So then this devotee replied, yes, I know that I'm blind. If I come, Lord can see me. Even though I don't see the Lord, but Lord will see me. So that is the mood, It's perfect. So it is exactly Villamangalam Thakur. Mangalam Thakur was also blind. So Villamangalam Thakur was very much in deep devotion with the Supreme. And Villamangalam Thakur could see that when Krishna comes nearby, just by the presence, just by the touch, every day Krishna was coming and serving Villamangalam Thakur, cleaning up his hut, putting back his plate, making the mat ready, making sure that he got enough food, everything. And this is the Lord. So nice. Thank you so much. Please join on Thursday. And today is also a very auspicious day of Lord, the Chira Dahi Panihati festival. So it's happened 500, maybe more plus years back in Panihati. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came there, Nityananda Prabhu was there. And it was Nityananda Prabhu ordered to Jagannath Das Goswami to make the arrangements for distribute, to serve every devotee assembled there. When they heard that Nityananda Prabhu is there, thousands of devotees assembled. Now it's a time for lunch. Jagannath Goswami came forward to offer the prasadam to the Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu said, what about all these other devotees? So you are they offended me, but you have to pay a price for it. Make sure that everybody else get prasadam. You make arrangement. You are from a rich family. You are a rich person. You can do that. So immediately Raghunath Das Goswami, this was the time Raghunath Das Goswami was not even seen Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Nityananda Prabhu. Just heard about it. So that time Raghunath Das Goswami was just coming to see them and so eager to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda. And then that's the first time. And Nityananda Prabhu said, you are a thief. You are a thief. You have stole our heart. You are a thief. So the price you have to pay for it is make sure that I make the arrangement for prasadam for everybody. So Raghunath Das Goswami arranged. Everybody was so jubilant. They were so ecstatic, and they started to the kirtan. And then when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared there, and it was so nice. So that's happened today. Yeah, I mean, that's so wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's conclude today's session. Let's pay our obeisance to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. Vancha kalpatarubhasya evacha patidanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Nandira Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nanda Gaudi Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Hare Premanandi.
Hari Hari Bo. Hari Bo.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu, for
Yes,
that
Prabhu.
wonderful class.
Wonderful class. Thank you so much.
Hari Bo. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.